All right, Chelsea fans, welcome back to another episode. That's right, of the London Split Podcast. Tell your favorite Chelsea podcasts out there and a part of the Men in Blazers Media Network. It's summer. The exceptional transfer window is open. That means Chelsea's trying to cram in as much business between now and the 10th of June ahead of the Club World Cup. And Chelsea have announced Liam Delap, which I think we're all very excited for, a recognized number 9. Cole Palmer gets the number 10 jersey, a bunch of other stuff going on at Chelsea Football Club right now, but we want to get into all of just a general reminder of what the rumors are at this point in time. We're recording this in the evening of the 5th of June, which means that by the time you're listening to this, Chelsea will have just 4 days left to register players in this period. So keep that in mind as it relates to anything coming out on this one. But Nick, as we hop into it, just a quick couple reminders off the top. We're going to be in Atlanta. We're going to be in Philly. We're going to be in New York. There's some summer events we've got going on. We just dropped our listener survey. If you haven't had a chance to fill that out, we'll put links in the descriptions. You can give us some feedback there. Let us know how to improve the show heading into the next season, or things that we should keep on doing because you like them. And then at the same point in time, we also have Keep Sell Loan recording coming up this weekend. One of the favorites, a perennial favorite, and our good friend Chelsea Yannick is going to be joining us for that one. The Yan Man returns, and boy, oh boy, I think it's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, he seems excited. We're definitely excited. So yeah, I just scheduling update. Basically, podcast every single day of the week from now.
Whoa. Yeah. Is this lockdown London is Blue? What's going on here, Nick?
I mean, when we were producing like crazy content, we're gonna be in your feed damn near every day. So just report back and check in because there's gonna be so much content. Sam is hard at work getting all of his scouting done for when signings come through. He wants to do like a thorough job. And so we're going to do a lot of these little quick hits. We're going to be doing Keep Sell Loan. We have the Chelsea women's season review coming out this weekend. We have a lot of stuff going on. But if you are able to fill out the survey, please do that. It means a lot to us. It helps kind of guide the direction for the show next year. And if you're going to be in New York on the 14th, we have a link out to register for that event. We need everyone who is coming to register just so we can get a sense for how much Michelob Ultra will need to be present for said event. New York Blues have been awesome. I think we already have 100 and some odd people signed up for that. So very, very excited for that one. That's on the 14th of June. On the 16th of June, before and after the match. The match is at 2 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern, something like that. 3 p.m. Eastern. Before and after the match, we will be at Stats. Stats is a bar close to the stadium.
Great name for a bar. Just going to put that out there. I love Stats. Stats is a great name for a bar. We'll have some good time. We'll talk some XBs, expected beers, Nick. There'll be many expected beers.
Yes, many expected beers indeed. So that's before and after the game. Stop by, say hello, have some beers. That'd be fun. And then the last one, of course, Philadelphia on the 19th, doing the full live pod. Going to have some fun with our friends and make that a night to remember ahead of the Flamengo game. So lots going on, but you don't need to register for the Atlanta or Philly events. Just come by and have some fun with us. Register for the New York event, please. Thank you.
I mean, the only last thing we would mention, and we were remiss, we did get hit up by our friends at DAZN who wanted people to know if you're not able to get to the Club World Cup this summer, even though they've been slashing ticket prices to make sure that that's right, you listening, could afford it at this point in time. Absolutely cut rate moment here that DAZN will be streaming all the games and make it available to listeners. So again, if you're not able to travel and you're not kind of familiar with DAZN because it's way more of an international thing than it is a U.S. broadcast thing, they will have all the games. They will have all the Chelsea content there in addition to all the other group stage matches, as well as the every other game of the tournament. And boy, oh boy, it would be nice to win it because we got a 4-year badge as well, Nick, which is the other thing our good friend Ben Jacobs was reporting out today. You get the badge for 4 years. I mean, that's just fantastic. You got to win just to stunt for 4 years.
How many Mick Ultras we drinking if we get that badge for 4 years, Dan? That's the question. I mean, look, I long for days like this. Beer sponsor, check. Broadcast partner doing some cool stuff, check. I mean, it's a long shot from where we started for sure. But let's dive into the fun stuff. We've done enough housekeeping. We have enough of the community, or as the Chelsea Fancast would say, the parish notices out of the way. Dan, tell the people what's going on because shit is moving fast.
Well, Well, just a reminder again, special windows open 1st through the 10th. So we're almost at this point, we're halfway through it. It's an adapted regulatory framework. If you want to get like really specific in the niche contract language of it.
I think McKinsey wrote this for sure. Yeah.
Well, to equalize differences in registration periods. Like, yeah, very McKinsey of them, FIFA. Well done. And obviously the tournament starts in Miami on June 14th. The craziness is the squad size is up to 35. So Chelsea are taking a lot of players. Like we've seen Chelsea, Andre Santos has kind of put his notice out there. Yeah, obviously we've got a bunch of other players. Liam Delap kind of not going to be with the U21 side because he's coming to the Club World Cup. That's fantastic. Generally, like really, really exciting that we're going to have
coming.
Yeah, Asugo coming. Yeah, we're definitely going to have a stacked lineup of players. There's also the fact though that you can extend it in tournament to 37 players and you can have an optional 6 squad change. Like it is just bonkers rules. Like bonkers rules.
Like genuinely, if we sign, because the window reopens, I think on the 16th of June, because, Dan, those 5 days in between, there's just too much going on. We need a breather, and everyone puts their pens down and their cell phones down.
It's a relax moment, Nick. It's a little comma to the window because we can't let that happen like that.
Moment of zen. That's what that is. And then on the 16th, I think we're going to start signing players again. And so not only could Chelsea add players to expand the 35-man group, but if we sell players and add new players in from Cobham or whatever, like those who are, left behind or whatever, like that could be a thing that happens too. It's fucking insane. This tournament is crazy. And look, at the end of the day, you're going to need to rotate so much in this tournament because even if you do really want to win it, the players are just coming off of a major season, right? International play is happening right now as we're talking. Like Brazil and Ecuador are playing right now as we're talking, as we're recording this on Thursday night. So these guys are just spent. And so you're going to need a lot. There's going to be a lot of players who play 45 minutes, come off, a lot of other players who are subbed in for the first half. Luckily, Dan, Chelsea are only used to playing 45 minutes and we're used to exchanging full squads. So I think we're going to be good to go.
Let's just jump into it, though, because Chelsea are clearly still in the market, still hunting for opportunities. I mean, look, we didn't even think a goalkeeper was on the radar a week or so ago. Then Mike Maignan becomes available because AC Milan are running down the contract, don't want to necessarily extend him at the rate. He wants to come to Chelsea. He wants to play Champions League football. We have multiple winger names coming up. Mohamed Kudus pops up years after the fact. We wanted him to come to Chelsea. He potentially is an option again. Obviously, Iketike is another option still available from like a striker perspective because why not both type of striker situation? And then still like deputizing a left back for Marc Cucurella becomes a major issue. So just maybe jumping through it, I want to get like a gut check feel from you on like, does it happen? Doesn't it happen? And then we can kind of talk maybe about the specifics. So Chelsea goalkeeper, Mike Maignan, does he end up coming to Chelsea at this point in time?
Feels like it. It feels like
you're really inspired by his performance today.
Yeah, we're talking after the France team, and to be fair, a terrible defense in front of him gave up 5 goals to an excellent Spain side, who then gave up 4 goals of their own for reasons that pass understanding in a real 5-4 shootout in the UEFA Nations League. So that's, a lot of people playing their best football right now, for sure. But yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting option. I mean, this was a guy that we wanted 2 years ago. Let's make no bones about it. I mean, he was coming off of, a good finish in Serie A. He had just won the title the year before. He actually won back-to-back titles, one for Lille in 2020, 2021, and then one for Milan in 2021, 2022. He is a guy who has been seen making more mistakes, let's be very honest, in the last 2 years than in the previous couple of years. He is going to be 30 years old. That does break the kind of blue cone model for buying young goalkeeping talent. But we all know that goalkeepers do not age in the same way that outfield players do. 30 years old to a goalkeeper is very much the middle of their career. Like they are, some just entering their prime at 30 years old. So this is not a guy who's like on the way out or whatever. AC Milan had a torrid year overall this year. They were really, really bad. And his goals against just in Serie A go from 21 to 34 last season, 41 this season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there are a lot of people out there who are genuinely concerned. Maybe he's on the decline. I think their team was worse. And you kind of forgive, the second place finish last year, but it wasn't like a close second place finish. The Serie A was pretty wrapped early, and they finished 8th this year, Dan. AC Milan finished 8th in Serie A. Like, this is not a vintage AC Milan team. They went through a hell of a lot of structural change at the club. We know that they have to sell players because they are on a different type of budget now. I'm not concerned about that. What I like about the player, Champions League experience, leadership experience. He's been captain before. France's number one, whether you love that performance today or not. And I think a couple of years ago we would have been tripping over ourselves to get him, and now we have the opportunity to. And it might only be for 10 or 15 million euro, which is nuts. So yeah. I don't see the harm in doing this.
Yeah, I agree. I think it might be very interesting. The big challenge is going to be, how do you get Rob Sanchez and Jorgensen, one of the two, off the books? I mean, obviously, there's still Petrovic, who could go in that scenario. We've seen the opposite reporting that AC Milan would be interested in him, which is always the fun, like, buy a player, sell a player type strategy that may or may not occur. And then you obviously have Penders, too, hanging in the background as another consideration, who it seems like we'll get a chance to see in the Club World Cup, too, which should give us some understanding about their performance. It could be very likely that it's a sign the player, bring him in, have him ready for the Club World Cup, and then during the period of the Club World Cup, one of those other main or two of those goalkeepers end up exiting the club. Once the full window opens, and clubs that are not in the Club World Cup actually then end up making their moves to start the summer. But interesting thoughts there. Let's get into some of the winger ones here. I mean, you've loved Nico Williams for a long time. We've seen a lot of the Gittins rumors as well coming. And then Kudus out of nowhere, effectively.
Out of nowhere.
No, absolute top rope moment there, where we were potentially, being checked essentially by, like, could they sign Rob Sanchez? Could they sign Dewsbury Hall? And at the same time, hey, by the way, we have this guy, Mohamed Kudus. Would you be interested in him? like the reverse sales strategy. Like, I know you're coming in, we're coming to see you about buying, but could we sell you something at the same time? Very interesting. Like, I will say, not necessarily a player I was considering, like, could come to Chelsea this summer. I think the valuation, might be a little high on the kind of plus side. I mean, the release cost is 85 million. I don't think you pay that much for him, though, because I think West Ham probably need to sell some players. So you figure something out and get it done. But it's interesting. I'm interested in, could we do it? Because I think he's still a very exciting player. Yeah,
I mean, the Mohamed Kudus one really pisses me off, because this is a guy that I wanted a couple of years ago, and I thought that, coming off of a great World Cup and, his club performance, that this would be a player that would be really, really interesting to sign. And it kind of just feels like a make weight right now, because West Ham are, reportedly interested in a couple of our players. And, it's almost like, how do you make the fee work, because he has a buyout clause? The problem with Kudus is that his production hasn't warranted, coming from Ajax, hasn't warranted anything special. He is a guy who had 8 goals in the league last season, 5 goals in the league this season, 9 assists combined both years. I think he has, it looks like 13, 18, we're doing 18 and 11 over the last 2 seasons, goals and assists contributions, which isn't bad. And, like, we know that West Ham have played some pretty awful football during that time. He kind of just feels like an Nkunku to me, though, where, like, he's more of an inside forward, really technically gifted, can give opposition a really tough time with his dribbling and his skill, and obviously as a rocket for a boot. But doesn't feel like a need, and he's certainly not a wide winger. He's not a Nico Williams or a Gittins type. That one just feels weird to me, and it feels like, oh, you're interested in one of our players, we're interested in one of your players, sort of thing, just to like get the conversation started. If he were to come to Chelsea and be a part of a rotation that was like maybe moving to a different formation where he could play inside forward or something like that, then potentially I'm interested in that. But you're essentially then just kind of swapping Kudus for Nkunku, positionally. And I don't know. How do you feel about it?
So if you had asked me at the end of his first season at West Ham, I would probably be a little bit more interested than I am right now. It was a 20 goal and assist plus season combined across all competitions. So 14 goals, six assists, or 20, essentially replicating very, very close approximately to his best season for Ajax, which was 16-6 at 22 goals and assists. Someone like Gittins this past season, obviously his best season for Dortmund, played obviously more minutes over that time too. So, he had 12 goals and 3 assists in that time period. We have struggled though with some of our purchases from the Bundesliga, to be fair, to acclimatize in Chelsea and in the Premier League. And he is a younger attacker. So I think that has to be kept in front of mind as well. And it doesn't seem like anything with the Nico Williams type of wage structure, or the fact that they're upgrading his contract or looking to, extend him, might make it more difficult for Chelsea to get it done. I don't think Kudus is the guy. I don't think we'll end up doing it. I think the Gittins rumors seem to be a little bit more concrete to me, fits the club's profile of who we would go after and if he's available. And then I genuinely struggle a little bit with the idea that Nico Williams would be the guy based upon how we've looked for market, availability and tried to exploit it versus trying to overspend. And I think if there's an overspend, it's probably another striker.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we talked to Matt Law last week a little bit about the winger options, and of the 3 that we're talking about today, Gittins will be most likely the cost-effective option. I would guess that's the direction they're going to go, because we're becoming Man City's youth team from 4 years ago, essentially. That's what Chelsea Football Club is going to become. But if you were going to go big on a winger, to me, it's like Nico Williams would be the dream. I think he is unbelievable. He obviously scored again for Spain today. He was the player of the Euros for me. No offense to any other Spanish player, and there were tons of really good Spanish performances. He is just unbelievably dynamic. His wages are the problem, because he essentially will require like a £300,000 a week sort of deal, and you're just not sure if the output is going to be £300,000 a week, especially when you have Cole Palmer, whose output is enormous, making less than that. So it's kind of a similar problem to what we saw with the Jadon Sancho rumors, right? Which is like, Jadon Sancho wanted to make £100,000 more than Cole Palmer with none of the production. And I think you're looking at injuries and kind of lower production happening for Nico Williams. Probably not going to justify it, although I think he'd be great at Chelsea. I think Gittins is probably the way that the club are going to go, or a surprise other option out there that potentially they would value.
And so then if we just keep on going down the list of individuals, obviously there is, one other striker name that's out there, Nick. And so Chelsea potentially been considering a deal to get the man Frankfurt, but Liverpool are just hanging out there around as well, making the considerations, making the inquiries. We're not necessarily like 100% locked. There's also a very high valuation for him too. So it depends upon what is the one, area that Chelsea maybe do spend and kind of make that luxury level signing, particularly after getting, Delap at a very, fair price here. We get Mannion at a very fair price. You do then have some more money to spread around on one or two, maybe key or cornerstone signings this summer.
Well, I mean, depending on who you sell, you can potentially do a lot. I mean, that's the other thing that we'll talk about in the second segment is like, who do we sell? But yeah, I mean, Ekitike is out there, and it's no new news that Chelsea are considering him. It kind of was going super fast the first couple of days of the window, and then kind of slowed down a little bit. I think Frankfurt are like, Vert's on his way out. Like, we gotta basically get maximum transfer value for both of those players. I don't think Ekitike will go for the 100 million euros or 85 million pound valuation. I think it'd probably be closer to 70. If Chelsea spends 70 on him, we know the knock-on effects to someone like Nico Jackson and how that might look and feel moving forward too. So I don't know. I mean, do you have a preference, Dan? If you're going to spend money on like a big forward player, are you going after another striker, or are you going after like a big time winger to complement, what Cole Palmer can do?
Ooh, well, I mean, I think there is a framing then on like where are we selling players, because I feel like the winger situation gets very interesting with Jadon Sancho not returning, with Mykhailo Mudryk, obviously kind of in the hinterlands. You have the rumors that Madueke is on Newcastle's radar, as well as others for potentially like a outgoing this season. Like, you have a lot of movement in that winger space, and I almost feel like that's the area where I would like look to spend a little bit more after bringing in Delap, and like going with Nico Jackson and Delap for another year would be probably more my thought on the model, because I would like to have another contributor in that kind of forward attack. I mean, having then Pedro Neto, having Madueke, if we keep him, having another really, really strong, solid attacker in that grouping with then Cole Palmer, with then Delap and Nico Jackson feels really, really strong to me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would go winger as well. I know that, we've talked about some other options in previous shows. Rodrigo, that's kind of quieted down a little bit. But yeah, I think if Chelsea are able to go out and get a bona fide left-sided, right-footed winger to complement all the options that are really right-sided options, that would be my preference, and I would hope that is exactly what they would do.
Well, the last one is just we need a backup for Marco Correa, because he cannot play all the time. As much as we enjoy watching him play and doing penguin dances when he scores way more than you think he would, Hato is the only one I think we've been reliably linked to from Ajax. It seems like he would be an option available for us. You'd like to get it done before the tournament. Obviously, there are some considerations from the academy and from that realm as well that could back up or deputize for a period of time, but it does feel like that's a position where Chelsea should make a move as quick as possible to shore up a very, very major hole if he were to get injured in this team.
Yeah, I mean, there's also Ishe Samuel Smith, so I think if Chelsea don't land Jarell Hato, then I think Ishe will likely come to the Club World Cup. I mean, I think that would make the most sense. I don't think Renato Vega is coming back. I don't think that Ben Chilwell is going to be playing on the left side for Chelsea again. So when you kind of think about it, it's probably Ishe Samuel Smith or Jarell Hato as the backup, and then depending on what formation Maresca decides to go with, having that kind of LCB, LB option is a nice flexible thing, especially because Levi's not going to be able to play every single match next year either, right? So you need depth and breadth across the back line, and some flexible options are always really nice to have.
Well, let's take a quick break, and when we get back to it, we'll talk about some of just the updated outgoing considerations that Chelsea might have as well, ways to replenish the coffers to try and balance the books. That it's an important thing, potentially, being back in the Champions League and having additional scrutiny on finances. So let's get our ad break out of the way. Stay tuned and be right back. All right, Nick. So just a couple here. The most interesting one I saw today, that apparently Arsenal would like to have Kepa Arrizabalaga as their backup keeper to David Raya. That was not on my bingo card. I thought that Bournemouth would go hard to keep him after what I felt like was a really successful loan for him. But they seem to be in strip it for parts type of mode right now in terms of all the players that they're selling, which is going to be very interesting for Bournemouth next year in the Premier League. But Kepa, £5 million is the total, and Arsenal could have him apparently.
Can they also take Raheem Sterling though? Is there like a total?
It's a $10 million package. You get 2 players. It's a really phenomenal deal. You just have to take the wage bill. That's all we need.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would rather Kepa not go to Arsenal. Like I think he's doing well as a starter. He probably does want to start. I don't know if he'll want to be a backup. Like he after having a really great year. So yeah, I don't think that doesn't seem real to me. I don't think he'd accept that after last year. Do you?
I mean, it's just about getting him off the books at this point. I mean, that's really the situation here. I mean, look, I will say though, we've sent plenty of players Arsenal's way, and it has generally not worked out for them, which would be the most hilarious thing. I mean, imagine us getting a chance to play against Kepa, who was obviously involved in that Europa League run where we ended up beating Arsenal 4-1 in the final. So it was really nice. Like, it'd be great to see the inverse of, oh, hey, someone from our team, like Cole Palmer, just hits a long shot because we know that's the weakness, and it just sails right by. Could happen. Would not necessarily like overly celebrate it, but I wouldn't be opposed. Would not be opposed to it. What about Trev Chalobah to Napoli? That was another one that came out Gazzetta dello Sport or Dello Sport. It was kind of reporting that Antonio Conte would like Trev Chalobah to be a guy for them. Thoughts, feelings, opinions?
First choice target in defense. He should be first choice center back for us. That's what I feel about that. He costs you nothing because he's already here and he's an academy prospect. So when you are considering, and this is why I know the club will try and sell him, but I think they would be stupid to. When you consider the UEFA FFP rules, he costs you very little, and you're going to need some of those types of players to balance out the other expenditure that you've made on higher priced talent. And so if Antonio Conte likes him, he's a defender, because Antonio Conte doth not mess around when it comes to defense. But he should be playing and starting for Chelsea, period.
Well, and the other one we mentioned earlier, Nani Madueke, just there is interest apparently from Newcastle about signing him, as well as AC Milan, which AC Milan's not going to have the money to sign Nani Madueke. So just end that conversation right now. It'd be like one of those like, hey, we're going to take him on loan. And it's a 2-year loan and we're going to pay you in peanuts. And then we're going to negotiate down like an obligation fee to actually being like a we might pay it type of fee scenario. None of that BS. Like, just straight sale. If you were going to sell him, it would not feel like super great to go like reinforce, I think, a side like Newcastle, who has kind of continued to like build in a very like logical manner over the past couple seasons. Yeah, obviously they pushed to the end of the season to be involved in the Champions League next year. They have Champions League money to spend and consider. So like, if they were going to sign him, we should not do it for anything less than like, I would say, at or above market value. He's a Premier League proven player. Has completed one of his best attacking seasons. Like, I'm not ready to see him go elsewhere. I'm ready to see him kind of kick on for another year, improve the level of competition in the squad, help him level up again. I don't love the idea of that one. You talk about like strengthening potentially other teams with bringing Kepa into Arsenal. I kind of feel that way with like Madueke into Newcastle. I just wouldn't love that.
No, I don't understand this. Like, of all the wingers that we would get rid of, and I know that like there's some frustration around Madueke's decision making and all that sort of stuff, but like of our wingers, he has been the most productive, and I think he offers you flexibility in a way that Pedro Neto doesn't. I mean, certainly, Mykhailo Mudryk isn't really an option. You've already sent Jadon Sancho back to Manchester United, and Nkunku's clearly not going to play out there. Nicholas Jackson's clearly not going to play out there. Although I'd be open to that test. I mean, this is. I get that the money would potentially be good because he's a Premier League proven talent, but Yeah, I mean, Madueke is, for me, the superior player, and I hope that we don't do something silly there. Like I think you need Madueke, I think you need Neto, and I think you need another guy, and then potentially Cole Palmer flexes out as a winger instead of a number 10, and you play 3 midfielders this year too, which is another option. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're in the market to sell wingers right now. I think we need to buy wingers, and I certainly wouldn't want to sell to someone who's like competing with us for those positions. Like, that seems very silly. I mean, the Kepa thing is one thing. This is a whole other, consideration.
Well, let's talk about one we might sign off on, which is Axel Disasi apparently drawing interest from Newcastle and then also from the Saudi Pro League as well. It's sanctioned. Done. Enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, the center back thing is going to be fascinating because in talking with Matt, and I think this will kind of manifest itself not in this first transfer window, but as Chelsea get into really, the selling mode, you essentially are going to have 4 midfielders that I think get talked about being sold this year. I don't think Tosin and I don't think Levi Colwill will get sold. So we're going to put those 2 to the side. Axel Disasi certainly will be sold. I think you're going to probably hear a lot of rumors around Trev, although Trev should not be sold. I think you're going to hear a little bit more around Fofana than people are comfortable with in terms of, potential options there. And then I think Badiashile is going to be another one that people start sniffing around for. Now, if you buy Jarell Hatto, Badiashile as your auxiliary left-sided backup to Levi Colwill becomes a lot more interesting to potentially consider a sale for.
Yeah.
But I mean, Disasi is not, it's not really an option there. So I think Chelsea probably sell 2 of those 4. And right now, I think it's Disasi plus 1. I think it's most likely going to be Trev, but I think if you buy Jarell Hatto, then it could potentially be Badiashile and then Trev stays.
Things to consider, obviously. The other part too is just about how is it bounce of books. Obviously, if they're a homegrown player or someone who's come up through the academy, it's what they call pure profit FC Nick. So I mean, there's something kind of taken into consideration.
That's what the kids are saying for sure.
Oh yeah, okay, cool kids. You're wearing the backwards cap too, just for it. So the meme is coming alive on the YouTube stream for
so
it.
Cool.
But look, that's kind of just what's going on right now. There's plenty of more information kind of coming out. I imagine we'll be back with you in very short order over the next couple of days. If anything drops from an emergency pod standpoint, we'll be with you. If Chelsea do end up signing a goalkeeper, if we do end up getting one of our winger targets, we'll be back with a quick react. And then we'll also make sure that we're back with a deeper dive with our good friend Sam, CFC Central, to get into it. But look, we're just excited for the Club World Cup. We're excited to see people in New York, in Philadelphia, in Atlanta. Make sure to look at the links in the description to get information or check it out on our socials. You also can get involved. We've got our wonderful Discord community, so don't forget that. And our free weekly newsletter, the London is Blue Dispatch, that Sam has been writing all summer. Give us some feedback on the pod with our survey. And then also make sure to vote in our Keep Sell Loan poll as well, so that we can include you as a part of our listener conversation for when we do that podcast this weekend with Yan and release it next week. But that's going to be this one. So until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep blue flag flying high.